Oh, hello there.
What's up?
Guess what? This is the very first moment where we have had
Boost
9 on a computer screen. It is happening live. I've never been this excited in my entire life.
It's actually pretty wild. Like,
it's actually
like weird.
I clicked the button and it opened.
Right.
And I thought to myself,
and now what do we do?
This is like the moment of my birth.
And there's so I don't know if it's the moment
I'm
of your
going
birth.
into a world of the unknown.
Today is story time. Guys, everyone's asking us, how did you actually create a software company? We created a software, if you guys haven't noticed, it's called Boost 9. It is the best way to find products to sell on Amazon. We're gonna tell you the story of how it came to be. It's kind of an interesting story. We're a little biased, but
I mean, like, let's just start at the beginning.
Because
it started back last year. Kale decided to start an Amazon FBA business, and then I jumped in, okay?
Yep.
We built that business up to a significantly high level. We built it up to about 80, 85,000 a month in like 6, 7, 8 months.
It was pretty crazy.
And that is when we made a decision, and this was probably the decision that changed our lives more than anything.
Literally.
And it was the decision not to only have one revenue stream, but to build more businesses.
Exactly. So I literally called Taylor. I think I was just walking home from my 9 to 5, and I was like, bro, we need a YouTube channel. And like most of the things we do, I give one call to Taylor and he makes it happen. That's kind of what happened. So the next week we had an office, right?
Literally the next week we had an office, we had a studio, we could film in it, we could do everything. And it was like, guys, literally, it was like, I remember we went in the first day and it was like in this basement.
Literally,
like,
no windows.
No windows. We went in, we painted, we did all this stuff. And we just like started buying furniture, put computers down there, bought these like white and black backdrops.
When you look back on it and you see this space, it's kind of weird where we started, guys. We got new stuff coming in at you hot from the studio. Ooh, 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 ooh. Like, it's just this windowless space. The sound was super echoey. It wasn't great, but we thought it was amazing because it was just huge and it was our first spot.
It was our, like, so when you build an Amazon FBA business, I think that sometimes it's almost hard because everything's online. You're outsourcing this stuff, and sometimes it's like, is this even real, right? But we had an office. We had something physical.
Exactly.
It felt real.
It really did.
I mean, we got 13 lights. We got 2 tables. We got a camera here.
And here's the big thing, okay? We started a YouTube channel, and we've gone on to start other companies that we'll talk about later. But we went on to start the YouTube channel with one goal, one mission, okay? And that was to help other people sell on Amazon.
Exactly. And it's kind of funny because even back then, at the very beginning when we're in that crappy office, we have this weird setup. You guys remember that white background we have with all the different colors where we film the videos?
What would you say if I could guarantee you that your product choices that you're looking at for Amazon FBA, the products that you already have up are good, or I could tell you if they were bad?
Taylor's there and he's doing this ad and he's like, man, these are all the ways to find these product research criteria. And I'm thinking to myself now when I look back on that, like, that's the core of our business, is helping people find the right products. Because if you find the right product, you're gonna be just fine.
And so we started to grow, right? We hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We hit 2,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Something like that.
Maybe we were in this like office that honestly at that point in time we thought was like the coolest thing.
It was amazing.
Ever. It was really honestly not at all.
It wasn't.
Okay? And it was like around that time where we actually got to fulfill why we actually started Amazon.
Exactly, because the reason you came on, he came on as an investor, firstly, mostly, because you wanted to make a down payment on your house. I remember you telling me that. And so Taylor got a new house. I actually got a new apartment. I had this.
All right, this is the pre-Kale. Actually, this is the Kale room. This is the pre-Mia room. Oh. My Atlanta, here we go.
Crappy apartment. I mean, it was so dirty and so small. Literally, I could touch the walls because I have like this 8-foot wingspan. And so we were able to do that just from Amazon. And that was big for us because we wanted to prove to people that it wasn't from YouTube. It wasn't from any of that. It was from Amazon.
And right around that time is when we started Honey Badger Boost, which is product photography, listing optimization, product pick list. It's all of those things. Details are down in the description if you want to click on it or haven't heard about it before. And then we went in and we started 9 University, right?
Exactly.
And that has opened up a whole lot of doors. It's allowed us to help people in a way better way.
It's so funny because now we have, like, again, we have this space, but I remember sitting down at this desk with all these crazy lights and just like all around our heads, and we were sitting there and we were about to film this and we were like, is anyone even gonna buy this? Is anyone even gonna want to be a student of us? And now look at us, we have, I don't know, 500 students.
Right.
Like,
and
what? It's crazy.
Like, I literally remember this. that I think the first day, no one bought.
Literally.
We put it up, no one bought. The next night, somebody finally bought it. One person bought it. His name is Christian. Shout out to Christian,
Love you,
first
Christian.
student.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so crazy to think about because yesterday we launched Boost 9.
Yep.
Okay. And first day we had like 75 people jump on Boost 9.
Yeah, at
and
least.
that's not like 1,000,
No.
but that's way better than 0.
I know. It's crazy how the response has increased and how over time you get used to the success. Like yesterday wasn't even that surprising. We were probably more excited when our first student signed up than we were when 75 people signed up.
We really were.
We don't want to take it for granted, but it's just weird how that kind of builds, and you'll see that as you go.
And I think if you're here, you're a part of the 9 fam, and I want you to know that this video is not about us.
No.
This video is not a look at us, look at what we've done, look at how we've done it, oh, we're so cool.
Yeah.
What this video is we want to tell you a story of how Boost 9 was born.
Yeah.
But the most important part of the story is the beginning.
So true.
Because we started in this crappy office. We started just literally, guys, back in those days, so much of our money was just being turned over straight for inventory to Amazon FBA.
Yep.
There were moments where we had very little money in the bank because we were buying so much inventory.
Yeah.
That's all we were doing.
Yeah, and that was tough because you want this thing to benefit your wives and your families, and you want to take some money out, but then at the same time you're like, it's growing so fast, it's how do we scale? And all of those things were just these little growing pains, and now looking back on them, just seeing how cool all the things that taught us. But the thing that happened to us next, so we launched 9 University, right? And then we get this opportunity to go out to California. Our man Derek Struggle, shout out Derek, we love you, brother. So we get to go see him. We get to sit in a Lamborghini.
Yep. Brakes on, here we go.
1, 2, 3.
Oh my God!
Just to hear that thing.
Oh my gosh. It was amazing.
Man.
And before that, before we had gone out to California, Kale had the idea about a software. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
Literally, like, I think it was right before we went out.
It was
and
right
got to sit in the
before.
Lamborghini.
Yeah.
Kale was like, we need to have a software. I was literally on the phone 5 minutes later setting up an appointment for us to go and talk to a development team.
Yeah.
We went out to California. I remember sitting down with Derek and literally talking to him about what we wanted Boost 9 to be. Like, this is what we want. This is what we're trying to have. And he was just so encouraging. And it was just like, it changed the way I looked at things.
It really did. We're on these scooters. I've definitely done less fun things than this in my life. Like cleaning a toilet. Basically every other day of my life has been less fun than me riding this scooter to the Golden Gate Bridge right now. We're like driving from, we're out by this pier and we're like, we should take these scooters, these little bird scooters, we took them all the way to the Golden Gate Bridge. And that day, I remember just feeling like, apparently I did it wrong.
You don't like stick your tongue all up in there, okay?
What do you do?
You touch it just to make sure it's disconnected.
Oh.
Okay? And then it's literally...
Okay, that looks a lot better than what I did.
You were like...
Alive. Like I felt like that was the first time me and you had gone on a trip together, spent some serious time together as like business partners.
Yeah.
And I've personally felt like that was the moment, like the first moment of like the rest of our lives. Because we were at this place where we were free. We were spending money, we were traveling, and it wasn't like we were stressed.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh my gosh, we can't do this, we can't do that. We went to like a nice sushi restaurant, ate, we went and got steaks. Like it was fine.
Yeah.
And like while we were doing that, while we were on that trip, I remember that day, I'm not trying to brag, again, this is not about bragging, but I think we made like $40,000 that day passively while we were adventuring, while we were having fun. And that's when we really started to believe, I think, that anything was possible.
So right around that time, Kale quit his job.
Yep.
Right.
Like almost right when we got home, right?
Exactly. Kale quit his job.
Yep.
So we got back from this trip. We were so like pumped up. We were motivated.
Literally.
It was like, oh, let's go.
Yeah.
So we go back to the office and Kale, what did we find?
Just like most things in life, you get that sky high moment and then the world punches you in the face. And we get back and the office is literally leaking. Like there's like, it's coming from the ceiling. The floor
like puddles.
is caving
it's
in.
Like done.
I'm talking like we were the same height. Like I was standing next to this dude. The floor was caving in and we're like, oh my gosh. And so all of those ideas kind of hit this wall and we were like, should we even do this? Should we do the software? But at the same time, we had this new faith, we had this new motivation, right? And we were like, we're doing it.
Yep.
So I remember the coolest like moments where we were coming from this crap hole of an office that was literally sinking into the ground.
Yep.
And all the time we were going to work with our development.
Yeah, so, but it would be really cute to know that number, right?
I just want to know the total. I want to know the total amount.
Team, and they have this amazing office that's like basically showing off to the whole world.
And we were super frustrated with like our office and stuff because we wanted that to work, but we didn't give up. And here's the thing is stuff's always going to hit you. Stuff always is going to come out of nowhere, stuff you won't expect, and you have a choice of whether you keep going or whether you take a step back. And the thing is in that moment, not only did we keep going, but I felt like also in that moment is when we almost like doubled down.
We did.
Because that's when we hired Emily full-time. That's when we hired Thomas full-time.
That's true, yeah.
That's when we brought on one of our, like, the greatest photographer in the world for Honey Badger Boost. Like, we not only were just like, no, we're not going to let this stop us. We're going to keep going. It was like, no, let's double down. Let's go forward with everything. Let's keep going.
And throughout all of that, we were building this software with you guys in mind. So
it's July 16th. July 16th, 2018. We are in an office with a brand. Can we say their name?
I don't think we can.
I think we can. If we can't, I'll just edit it out. Their brand name is, and they are building the software. So the software that you now know as Boost 9. You take a look. Kel, tell them what we did today. What did we do today?
Last week, 2 weeks ago, we signed a contract for the discovery phase. It was very expensive, and the check hurt me, okay?
It did.
But whatever. The discovery phase is this. We are identifying our market, basically. Today we went through this whole thing. It was mapped out like 11:45. You know, every minute was mapped out, and we went through the whole customer journey. So you start out with, what's the overall problem that we're trying to solve? I think we had a good feel for it, didn't we?
We did. But we're in this conference room. We've been in here for, let's see, as you can see, the first time I'm here was 11:45. We got here at 11. It is now 3.
you might think that it just came to be, that it just like snapped and we had this software. Every single feature, I'm talking every button press, everything that you see on that screen is the result of months and months of hard work and planning. Like we had remember those whiteboards that were just like the whole screen, we had stickies. We're trying to figure out not only what will sell, I mean, that was almost secondary.
Right.
What would help people find the products the most? What were the biggest sticking points? What wasn't working with current software? And we were mapping this out pretty much twice a week. For like months trying to get this down.
And by the way, we outsourced for our developing. Kel and I did not do that. We're not that technical. Shout out to you guys if you ever watch this. I don't know if you want me to say where you work or say what your names are or anything like that, but you guys are literally the most amazing people. So we were going through this whole process, figuring out, like Kel was saying, every button click, literally what every word was saying and where it was saying it, and all this different kind of stuff. And in that period of time is when we actually found this place.
Yeah, so thankfully we got out of the lead.
Well, it's a done deal. We're out of here. It's been quite a journey. Shout out. I remember when I painted that. We were a small little company, but here we are now. First place. We are out of the first place. We gone.
Piece of the sinkhole.
Correct.
We got out of the lease, and it was just a blessing because like we were expanding, like you said, we hired people. We wanted out of that windowless space, and we ended up here. And you guys have seen the final product, but like it started out just like these white walls. We got in here, we painted this ourselves. We did all of this stuff to make this space feel like home, to feel like a place we could film. The goal was so we could film anywhere in the space, and it looked dope.
And I think that this was also a key moment right in this time frame, because there were two things happening, We had been doing all this work and all this research for this software, and bills for this software were starting to become due, right?
That's true.
Tens of thousands of dollars were starting to become due. And at this same moment in time, we were trying to figure out if I could quit my job.
This is so true.
If I could get out of my job, if I could do it. And at that moment in time, Kale and I were literally like, I don't think we can do this. I think we're going to have to go get an outside investor, give away part of our company, our hard work, everything, just so that we could have a software company and I could quit
One
my
of the
job.
hardest moments that I've ever had is when Taylor told me to write a business plan, and I was a business consultant, so this is what I did, but I sat down for like 5 hours and I banged out this business plan, and I had this pit in my stomach because I knew that our businesses had the potential to fund this, but like it was just on the cusp, right? But again, We doubled down. Honey Badger Boost doubled, tripled, quadrupled because we just put so much into it.
Yep.
And then Facebook ads was the next level of just blowing this business into the stratosphere and allowing us to self-fund this software. And like we've said a lot of times, it wasn't cheap.
No, it's not cheap at all. So we doubled down on everything, and we had this new office, and I still had not quit my job, right? But we were thinking about me being able to quit my job and trying to see everything that we could do with Facebook ads, with Honey Badger, with everything, so that not only could we self-fund the software, but we could self-fund me quitting my job.
So true.
And that's when we started, like, honestly, even though I was still working, we started having a lot of fun.
Yeah, this is when life, I mean, like, as this is all developing, our lives are still happening, right? Like, I remember we went on a tiki boat for Mia's birthday. It poured rain the entire time. I'm talking like a monsoon. But it was one of the most fun nights of our life. Like, we, all these different things happened to us. Like, students started walking through the door. Like, real students, like, who'd seen us on YouTube. And they were like, wait, they got in here and they had this, like, shell-shocked look, like, wait, you're real? And we're like, yeah, we're real. Those kids came.
Have the dream and the vision of getting nice cars and having a place in California and being able to do this, okay? But here's what I really want your goal to be, okay? I want your goal to be to make enough money doing whatever business you're gonna be doing, right? To where you can buy your parents out of their jobs.
Yes,
those teenagers came. We drove them around in your car. They were super excited to meet you.
Dude, they sent us. You guys sent us a Jared and Seth. No,
we're gonna butcher your names, but they sent us the nicest thank you note of all time. You guys sent a thank you note,
and you're amazing, and I love you, and you're so amazing. Cool. But like, so we started having fun. Kale started doing ads where he was like throwing money everywhere.
Literally, it was fun.
Doing like snow angels in it.
I remember that.
Sweeping it up, like all this stuff. Okay, and we were building this whole time. Building all the businesses up. The same time we were going through all these workshops, getting the software developed, doing all this, trying to figure it out. And then I hadn't quit my job yet, but we had once again another opportunity to go to California.
California is an amazing place. We went to San Diego and hung out with Kevin David and a bunch of guys out there. And this was one of those moments where we see all these Lambos. What up, bro? It was like parked on the street, literally. You fly our drone into a tree, immediately just boom, right into a tree. But other than that, it was great. We're like seeing all these cars, but then this is kind of when we both had this moment where we were like, we can pick a crossroads, right? Like we're at this point where we're making a lot of money. We're doing really well. We're feeling great about ourselves. What should we invest in? Like, should we invest in those cars? Should we get a car and join that crowd that's on that street? Or should we take that money and keep betting on ourselves?
Correct.
Keep doubling down like we always have.
Absolutely. And nothing against any of those guys. A lot of those guys have a lot more money than we do.
That's true.
Okay? But we're going to get there. We're catching up pretty quick.
That's right.
But listen.
Yeah.
More excited for you than me.
How good? Scale of 1 to 10.
We went out there. It was a great time. We got to network. And I think at that point in time, for me, also, I think that is when my eyes really opened to see how big it could be.
That's true.
Because it was the house, and it was the cars, and it was all this. But one of the most amazing things happened. Casey Goss, who's the CEO of Viral Launch, was out in San Diego at the same time. And he was so amazing and gracious. And he was like, I asked him if we could go get breakfast. And we went. And he blew my mind.
And like you said, literally nothing against those guys who have the Lambos. And we're going to have those at some point, and it's fantastic. And they have the money for those, right? But one of the things that really stuck with me was we walk into this meeting, right? And there's all these guys with Lambos. But then Casey's just kind of sitting over at a table, just kind of like this. And I'm thinking to myself, who's the richest guy in this room? And let's be real, Casey was the richest, right? And he wasn't doing any of the flashy stuff. He wasn't doing any of that. And I was like, well, maybe me and Taylor can model ourselves after Casey, right? And so we sit down with him. We talk about software. We openly said, we're going to compete with you. And he was like, that's awesome. Like, go for it. And the plan that we came away with there, the vision that got implanted in our head there is going to change the rest of our lives.
Absolutely. It really, really is. So we came home from California. Right around that time is when I finally did quit my job. We had been saving up for like a month or two. And
bro, we sat right on that couch. He walks in, he says, today's the day. Walks over here. He's like, I'm doing it. I'm like, hold on, I'm not ready. My hands are sweating. Like, I wasn't prepared. He sits down and just calls his boss, and his boss, it was gracious and kind, but like you could tell that Taylor was a big part of his operation because he was like, is there anything I can do?
Yep.
Like, is there any, and Taylor was like, no, like I'm going to work for a startup.
Yep.
And this was the startup.
This is it.
Isn't that crazy?
But I quit my job, and it was still, you know, at that point in time, it was really like the last couple rounds of meeting with the developers. And obviously,
So the colors and all that. This is just merely a dark theme.
Right, this is not applying the themes.
we would meet with the developers like once a week, twice a week, and then they would work for a week, week and a half, then we meet with them again, work for a week and a half, meet with them again. But this is the part in time where like it's the hardest, okay? And let me explain why, okay? This is, I want to relate this back to Amazon. Would you mind if I do this real quick? So this was a point in time where we were spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for these developers to help create Boost 9.
Let's just say it, hundreds of thousands.
Okay, we can say that.
Yeah.
And this is so similar to Amazon FBA because it's a time where you found your product, you're so excited, you found your supplier, you're pumped, you place your order, you're trying to buy inventory, and you buy it.
And then you wait.
And then you have to wait. You spent your money. And then you have to wait. And that is what we did with this software, is we didn't spend all the money because it was in parts, but we were spending a lot of money. They were working on it, and all we were doing was sitting here going, when can we launch it? When's the day? When can we do it? What can we do?
And it's stressful because you're making so much money, and you think that you should be able to lay on that couch with your hands on your butt and just be like, hey, you know, I don't need to do anything.
No one lays on a couch with their hands on their butt.
I don't know why I said that. That was really weird. But you think you should be able to lay around, but literally we were still investing everything and always betting on ourselves.
Exactly. And so, finally, we got the demo. We got the demo, okay?
This was a moment,
which may or may not have been the first scene that you saw at the very beginning of this.
Yeah.
But guys, the story is not, once again, about us or what we've done or how we've done it. The story is that no matter where you start, if you put the work in, when hard times come, you don't quit, you double down, you keep going, you reinvest. You don't know where you can be 6 months from now, a year from now. Because if you had told Kale and I that we would, as of today when we're filming this and tomorrow when this goes up, as of the beginning of November of 2018, we would be software owners.
We own a software company.
I would have been like, that's a dream.
That's a joke.
Like, that would be incredible, but it's not where I'm going to be.
I mean, literally, I wouldn't have even known where to start. And many of you are in that position. Like, you literally don't even know the first step to take, but you do know that there's probably 5,000 steps after. Here's the thing, guys. Just take the first step. I know everyone says it, and it sounds cheesy. They're like, just do it. You can do it. You can do it. But like, if anyone is living proof, it's us. Like, do you see how normal we are? Like, we asked our students, we did a survey. We were like, what's the reason you chose to work with us? Why did you even want to work with us? And like the #1 overall, by far biggest response was, you seem like normal guys. You seem like guys we could hang out and have a beer with.
And thank you for that. That's literally what we go for. We started out on this journey to help as many people as possible sell on Amazon, get some success, make some money, change their lives, change their families' lives, change their legacy. That's what we started at, right? And now we're like actually getting started, okay? We didn't start with this goal and now we're like completing it. No, we started this goal and now we're actually getting to a place where we're starting to get a big enough platform, not for us, not for our egos, not for our pride, but a big enough platform where people actually listen to what we say. And you give me a student, give me one person who I've talked to, give me one person that Kale has talked to, and tell me one person that we've actually led astray. Led the wrong way, because I can promise you anybody who's talking any kind of crap about us has not actually talked to us.
That's right. That's right. And so if you see this story, I want you to do something right now. I want you to just imagine where these two dudes are going to be in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years.
I have no idea,
like this,
bro.
I know something. I know it's going to be insane. And so if you're watching this, just know that you are one of a huge crew that's going to figure this out. They're going to figure out these two guys ain't stopping. These two guys aren't quitting. These two guys are going nowhere. And it's about time you guys jump on board, latch a hold of us, and let's ride this thing as far as we can, because like you said at the beginning of the video, this has nothing to do with us. What matters more than how far we get is how many people we pull up with us. So you need to grab on now, grab on tight, join the 9 family for real. Like actually commit and join this family, because I promise you, like I give you my word, I'm sure I speak for Taylor as well, that we are not going to stop, we are not going anywhere, and we are going to take you guys where you need to go.
We love you guys.